clockwise 180 degrees, exactly opposite from the industry norms of education and publishing. I determined that I could and would bear the cost of having the curriculums produced and would provide them to teaching professionals free of charge. To say the move was unexpected is an understatement, but today I'm thrilled to say that educators have sought out each curriculum designed for K-5, elementary, middle school, high school, college, and graduate level courses for their classrooms in more than 2,500 school and university systems. Incidentally, none of this happened because I'm special in some way. It has happened because a number of years ago I intentionally and purposefully chose to think differently. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean in the chapters that follow, and if you wish, will lead you to some different results of your own. In case you're wondering, yes, I still speak and write. Daily, via my website, I communicate online with many people around the world, and I'm more passionate than ever about my search to notice that thing, that one tiny thing, that when understood and harnessed, allows me to help you create a life of extraordinary purpose and powerful results. It's less about drive and willpower than it is about a deep understanding of certain principles and why they work every time. Nothing excites me more than a focused search for little things that make big differences. After all, only the smallest essence of a thing can ever reveal its purity and, consequently, the source of its power. Remember the saying, "Don't sweat the small stuff"? You've heard it thousands of times, and honestly, on the surface, the admonition appears to be entirely logical. And without thinking too deeply about this seemingly innocent phrase, we have bought into its meaning wholeheartedly. In fact, our belief in the truth of this statement is so complete that it can now be found by searching the internet for words like wisdom or proverbs. Millions of us even bought a book with those words as its title. Unfortunately, as good as it sounds, and as tempting as it may be to follow that instruction, there is a big problem with not sweating the small stuff. Simply said, it's a decidedly unproductive approach to virtually everything in your life you consider important. If you really expect the results of your life to be any better than the rest of humanity's average, you'd be smart to understand that sometimes conventional wisdom is not even the truth. Or in other words, it's time to sweat the small stuff. There are those who claim to be big-picture people. While their descriptions of future results are often grandiose and exciting, sometimes we elevate these people into leadership positions too quickly. For despite their big dreams, they may have no concept of all the little things that must be factored in, delegated, worked out, and completed in order for the big picture to actually come together. Yes, it is critical to have a vision, but it's foolish to ignore the fact that every big picture ever completed was created by tiny, almost indiscernible movements of a brush and hand. One of the greatest big pictures in history hangs in the Louvre. When Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, he chose to work with the smallest brush he had ever used. The pressure he applied with that brush was so delicate, and the movements of its tip so slight, that today, even with a magnifying glass, one cannot discern the individual brushstrokes. Yet they were obviously applied one at a time, carefully, and with loving attention. Why? Because Da Vinci was creating a masterpiece. What are you creating? To what or whom are you paying close attention as you build your life? However your family turns out, whatever happens with your business, your organization, or your team, at the end of it all, whether you produce a disaster or a masterpiece, it all will have been created one small brushstroke at a time. So, sweat the small stuff. Seriously. Author's note. Gosh, you're still here. That's a good sign, I suppose. I mean, you are still hearing my voice. Therefore, the introduction didn't prompt you to take your headphones.